play on the portal. So you'll see on there is an entire list ranging from editing of submissions, viewing of submissions, actual creation and deleting of any submissions, which are predominantly sitting with the principal user with that exhaustive list. Slightly different for the secondary user, where they'll be only able to edit or view and to a certain extent submit and then view the profile of the institution and view documents for a particular submission. So that then ring fences the access of that particular individual that has secondary user rights. Now, the other question that was asked is how many principal and secondary users can the institution have? So from the feedback and the discussions that were held as of December, I think we then had a discussion at the time to say we standard put it 1-1 at this point in time based on the input and the feedback that was provided by the institutions. From the nominations that were provided, the PA will then list or rather register 2 principal users and 2 secondary users per nominations that were provided. Post that, the principal user then has the ability to add any other user that they would want to then have access to the system. So you will then have more than one user allocated to an actual institution. The other important question that was asked was, will the users then be able to see all the submissions that are provided or given to, or rather submitted to the PA, given that there could be submissions that have personal information or information that's confidential? So as it sits right now, as the system has been built, it's built with the primary and secondary user with the functionality that I've just responded to in the first question. However, with the need for a specific user to then be created, which then has a ring-fenced view of submissions that the other users should not have, there is that ability to create that user. Obviously, then it will then need to be with the discussions of with the institutions to say, what does that look like, right? If there is over and above the discussions that were held, it will need to obviously motivate to say, this is the reason why we want a specific user type over and above the ones that come default with the system. From a portal perspective, like I said, Tuso will then run you through a scenario that you will be able to interact with the system from. Tuso, over to you.
Thank you, Tisetso. Greetings, everyone. Like Tisetso indicated, my name is Tusho. I'll be taking you through to the portal. Can I then ask that I switch off my video, just to improve on my feed? Thank you. Thank you, Tisetso. You can then go to the next slide. Thank you, Mr. Malebo. Today's objective is just on this training. So we went through the slides, or rather the whole overview on the system on Tuesday, right? And I'm still a principal user in this instance, and I'll then show you how to then access the portal, and then how you then log into the Umoja portal. And the using of the Umoja, then I'll then show you on one of the scenarios. I'll also recap on how you then create a submission, and then I'll then show you how will that look like after when the PA creates a notification for you or a submission for you. Next slide, Tisetso. Okay, so like is indicated, so if we register you, or if you start loading you for tomorrow's training as a portal user / secondary user and primary user or principal user in this instance, you'll get this email link. You'll then follow or click on the URL. It will take you to the environment, which will be almost like a Umoja portal. right? We'll have a username and password, and that's a temporary password. The minute that you then click onto the portal and you use that password, it will prompt for a new password. Next slide. Yes, this will be then now your signing in screen where you then use a temp password and username and password as provided to us. Next slide. Yes, this will be the Umoja portal homepage, right? So principal user, secondary user, when you log in, you'll be greeted with this homepage. Next slide. So like I said, we'll just do a recap. So this is how you, on the burger menu or the menu bar, then when you click on there, and it will then present those 4 tabs or 5 tabs, right? So how you then create a submission, you click on then create. Next slide, is it so? Right, and then you then have to need to provide a submission name. We'll provide guidance on this one, right? And then you then need to select the form set. If you can recall from Tuesday already, I then indicated that that form set, that is application notification. It's what you'll be sending through to the PA, uploading your normal applications or notifications, the similar way you're currently doing, where you're using that secured email. And then when you're sending the email through into the PA, the rest of the other form sets that's not highlighted in red, those are the form sets that update the profile details, right? And then the effective date then just indicated that there's the earliest date of changes you want that are contained on your submission to the PA. Next slide. Yes, so after you've then created, you then either can return to manage return submission, right? This is after you've gotten your confirmation. You will then notice that the subject name that they've used will be highlighted. You can click on there to return back, and then you will also be given a reference number in this instance. Next slide. So in this instance, I clicked on that arrow. Now I'm landing on the manage return, right? So then it will then show you the submission that you just created now will be under the draft submission on there, highlighted in red. And yeah, next slide, is it so? So if you click on the submission name, then there will almost like you're viewing now your submission in this instance, and then this is how you then attach those documents into a submission that you just created. So we're now almost like completing the form now. Next slide. Yes, so like I said, we're now completing the return here, and not the return, submission or notification as indicated. So I'm just chosen a submission name there that says IF00082, which is an on-site, and then just illustrating how you then can upload the documents. So if you click on document upload, that's where your documents are. So you visualize what you're then submitting here. And when you click on validate and save, next slide, is it? Yeah, so this, after validating and save, then you'll be able to you'll be in the view submission section of this, right? So this is now where you're going to click validate and save. Then this, you're now sending the documents through to the PA. Next slide, is it so? So after you've made a submission, then this is a confirmation to say that you are about to submit this through to the PA. Next slide. Then this is the confirmation that you get. This is a confirmation that you get that you've then sent the stuff, your document has been submitted through to the PA, which is a notification in this instance. Next slide. So yes, just to show you, I don't know if you can recall, on your home page, there was no notification, right? So now here that you said send a notification through to the PA, when you go back to your home page, you'll then also get the notification email that you would get as a secondary or primary user after that confirmation that I just then showed you. This will be also on your portal. That's confirmation. Next slide. Right, so here I'm also then showing when you went on the couple of slides back, we had manage submission. We had those two labels. So after you submitted a submission, it will then you'll then be able to view it under the submissions that you were sent through to the PA. Next slide. Right, so this just then show you a history of all the submission that you would have made through to the PA. Right, it will also be a repository on some of the approvals and yeah, documents that the PA would have wanted from you. So that's just me indicating to you that the submission that we just made is this one. It will say await approval from the PA. Next slide. Right, so I'm also then showing the same notification after you send the stuff through to the PA. So here I'm also then just showing you the same screenshot where it's on your home screen to say after you've made the submission that you get confirmation that you send the submission through. And then next slide. Yes, so now we are about to create a scenario here where we then create a submission or for the PA or through to the PA. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm saying this is now the scenario that we'll be doing and I'll showcasing as well. So apologies for that. Here is when, remember I didn't show you a cycle or rather a process or what you then see on the screen. If you're the one creating a return, how will that look like? Now I'm going to show you if the PA had created a submission for you to then submit through to the PA, how will that look like, right? As I'm saying, the scenario where the PA creates a submission for you to complete. Next example, next slide, Disetso. Yes, so given that, you'll be busy with your day-to-day job, so once the PA has created that submission for you to complete, you will also get a notification into your mailbox. And then once you click on that, what is it? That hyperlink that takes you to the portal, then you'll go into your homepage. Next one, Disetso. Right, so now you as a principal user, you've been directed to your homepage. The previous two slides that I show you, we only had one, now we have two. And the email notification will then tell you there is a submission for you to complete, right? So next slide, is it so? Right, so this is just one of the, if you go to your create section, right? So in the example that I'm showing you, so now the PA has actually then created a submission for you to complete. It will have an effective date as well as a due date, right? So in this particular example that I'll be touching in here, the example that I'll be using will be where you all know now currently where the PA and yourself have agreed on a particular date, as part of a supervisory plan. They're going to be making a thematic review. They'll be coming to your offices, and before they come to your offices, there's normally a couple of documents that they want from you in preparation for that engagement, right? So in this particular example, the frontline team will then create a notification, and then in the notification, you then have to furnish the frontline team with the necessary documents that they require from you, as opposed to you then attaching all those documents and then sending the stuff into the PA via a dedicated mailbox, right? So this is how we go about doing it. I'll then share my screen and we'll go into the portal. So I just shared my screen. I don't know if you can see my screen. Maybe can I get an indication? This is so. Can you then see my screen?
Yeah, but yes.
100%. Thank you, sir. And like I said, so I'm logged in as a front. I'm about to log in as now as a principal user, right? And here this is an example where you are a principal user of multiple entities, right? So this just to then show look and feel. So I am doing the insurance one, and please to take care. I mean, or rather, when you responsible for so many institutions, make sure that you using or are you log on or selecting the correct one when you're making submission through to the PA. Now I'm logged on as a principal user. This is my home page, right? This is an example that I then showed you. And for the purpose of this example, again, I'm going to then create a new one, or rather, the PA is going to create a new one for us, and we'll see that how that will look like. And we just need to await the PA's request. So this one will be a supervisory. Right, so Tisetso, is there any question thus far?
There is a question from Sharon.
Yes, Sharon.
Do you mind just expanding on that a bit?
Hi, Tusho.
Hi, Sharon.
I just want to know now, like for instance, the regulatory or the required submissions, like the quarterly returns, the QRTs, will the PA automatically create those return submissions, or will we have to go and create it?
So for phase one,
Okay.
right, you need to then create that submission, right?
Okay.
And I think in phase two, then the PA will then create for everybody.
Okay, awesome. Thanks.
That is the only question thus far. Does anyone else have a question? No, there's no other questions.
Just waiting on the PA's request, the site. Right, just give me a moment.
Give me 2 seconds. There's a hand from Monet.
Hi, yes, I just want to clarify, if I understood you correctly, the next quarterly SAM submission, are we going to be doing that using the Umoja portal?
So
If it's due
Yeah.
at the end of March.
So I think not, okay, we'll probably provide, not, we are going to provide, or guide you as to when you should start submitting those quarterlies, right?
Okay,
But
okay, very good.
yes, yeah. So you'll continue as per normal for now.
Okay, thank you so much.
Right.
for the returns, that is money.
Okay. So I'm waiting for that email, then to then show you. Same email I showed on the presentation just now. Okay, yeah, I've received that email. It should be, yeah, reflected just now, right? So this is you as a principal user, right? You're sitting in your desk and you're doing your daily job. You now get indication from the PA to say, they'll be doing a thematic review based on your supervisory plan, and then this is what there's a submission for you, waiting for you to then to complete, right? And let me just check what's on the, yes, it will also be on your home page. That's after you've clicked that link, it will take you in there, right? And then just want to then get to Apologies, I didn't see something here. Because the PA will then also indicate what is it that they want from you. You know, standard practice on that letter, we then indicate to say the following is required from you. And then in this particular example, then show you how to then attach those multiple files. Because we also know that some of this thematic review can be a sizable request of documents that the PA want. All right, so okay, and we'll just here, we'll see how that looks like. Okay, let's just then see. So remember here, I would normally create a return, but in this particular instance, this was created for me by the PA, right? And then you'll then see there'll always be a due date there, right? That this is an indicator that this was created by the PA, right? They want this at a particular point in time, and you are effective individual. You already know, or you can just give them the documents before the due date, and this is how you go about attaching those documents now. So I clicked on the subject name, which is the thematic review on cyber risk, as an example. Right, and then what I'll do is I go to the notification, and then I'll then choose on-site or other, but I think there'll be a label that will say supervisor meeting. And then here I'm illustrating to you how many documents you can then attach in here, right? And so each document, I think, it's got a file size of 30 megs, right? And I can then add those multiple documents, right? So I know currently on IMS, we had that issue where you then have to send multiple emails. So I guess that will be a thing of the past. You can then add as many attachments as you can on here, right? So, yeah. All right. So yeah, that can be a long list, but just to then illustrate this, and I go validate and save. So I'll end where I need to then view what I'm submitting through to the PA. So I can then view as a last shot, and then I can see what I attached through to the PA. I'm happy with that. And I can either go back here and then respond to my frontline team and say, hi, Jusco, for example. Attached, requested, right? Then add, and Tush will be notified even after I've submit. If I said submit, you also get a confirmation, right? The same way you got a confirmation, front end also get a confirmation on their side, right? This is just confirmation. Let's see if I go to my home page there, right? I'm also getting confirmation to say I've submitted this through to the PA, right? And then so then the PA will go through that document. If there's anything, then they'll let us know, right? Let's just then go see. I go to view my submission history to then find out if there's anything that PA wants from me, right? Aha, so the ball pop icon rather, sorry, it's now gone, which means the PA doesn't have anything, right? So then the PA will then just then, you know, say approve, not really approve, but just to show indication there's nothing that they want, then they'll be seeing you thereafter. And yeah, that's me with my presentation this afternoon, and I hope it was clear and there's no questions or clarity at this stage before I hand over to Mr. Malebo. He said so.
There
Hello?
is actually a lot of questions.
Okay.
So
Alright.
we've got Vaynand asking what is the file size limit with the system? The current email portal is quite limited. I think when we presented last week in one of the slides, it was 30 megs, if I remember properly, the slide,
Yes.
the document.
Mhm.
And then I think it's Helen or Helian. Will there be a size limit per? Okay, so it's a similar question. Alice, will we be receiving a new schedule / notification with submission dates for the next quarterly? So I think, Alice, let's probably park that one for phase 2. If there is a need for a change, it will be communicated on time. And then Campbell, there's one there. Apologies if I missed this. You said for returns, you will let us know when the portal is active. Does the same apply for applications and notifications? We need to submit applications next week. What should we do? So for next week, you will follow the same process. The system is going live only in March. And you will then also get a communication as to when the system is going live. So at this particular point in time, which then flows nicely into the next couple of slides, is what happened to my Teams. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so from a applications and notifications perspective, we're going live with phase 1 mid-March. So effectively until then, you will then be still submitting your applications and notifications as you're doing now. And then we will then start discussing what phase 2 looks like once we've gone live with phase 1. So planning for phase 2 is after we've gone live with phase 1. And then I see the question from Joy, how will submission errors be managed as under will be managed as under the AML submission? Everything would be verified, but there would be errors that would prohibit submissions. So there is a validation on the system which effectively prohibits a submission if there isn't, if that error is not corrected, right? So it is the same tool, it is the same portal. So validation of data that's sitting on the actual tool will follow a similar process. And then I see okay, Campbell is saying thank you. The next question is, oh, there's a follow-up from Joy. Sorry, I'll come back to Siobhan. In other words, will there be a help desk? Yeah, so on the slides, I'm hoping my slides are presenting. There will be support and a help desk once we go live to from a virtual walk-in center perspective between the 16th and the 31st of March. So you will then be able to then run us through any errors that you are facing. And post go live, there is a support team for the system. Will it be possible that not all principal and secondary users have access to all submissions, but allocated to the type of submission due to the different, for example, person submitting? So, Sherwin, I think it goes back to the presentation, to the discussion here, right? So from a principal user perspective, principal user has a view of everything for the particular institution. Now, for us to limit views, like I stated, we will then be discussing the different scenarios and specific submission types that the specific user then will need to have access to. I think the predominant one was around personal information on some submissions. So that's possible, but it does not take away the fact that the principal user then still has a view of everything. Going back to, I think, the earlier response that I gave to say it then becomes very important for the institutions to then limit the number of principal users or select the principal user very, very carefully. I think that is all the questions that are sitting on here too. So, oh, there's another one that just, oh, okay. So that's a thanks. Any other question? Malik?
Will you be emailing us a link to register soon after this training
Register for?
for the Umoja portal?
So you would have had to have nominated individuals after the December discussion. We will add those individuals to the portal. They will get access, well, they will get emails to say that they've been registered, or rather, yeah, registered on the portal, and they will have access via that. And to those earlier discussion points, you will, I think, have a temporary password, and then you'll change your password. Principal users will then have the ability to add any other user that they want on the system.
Okay, very good. So those emails have actually come already.
To add users, yes, they have been sent.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Now this hand's going up. Sorry, I was on chat. Let me see who the hands are. I think it was Monet. Managid.
Yes. Sorry, I might ask a question that you've answered in the previous sessions, but I just wanted clarity. I just wanted to know, so we currently have two insurers within the group. One is life and one is non-life. For life, we've already registered on the platform and we're submitting the Umoja platform the AML submissions. What we want to understand is for the non-life license, were we then supposed to also complete the registration as it's two different insurers?
Yes, you are. So remember the allocation of the institution's users is per licensed institution, but besides that, AML functionality is somewhat more linked to returns, right? So the users that are AML would be somewhat different, if not in all instances, in most instances, to the ones that submit applications and notifications. So unless if it's the same people, then I would suggest that you nominate for the ones that for the institution that's already on AML as well.
Okay, so basically for the life insurer, we can do two more, we'll register two more users outside of the AML return. So we should have actually registered 4 people for the 2 different licenses.
Unless if it's exactly the same people.
Okay, is it too late to register now?
No, you can send in the names.
Okay, I can't put them on the chat. The chat is muted. How can I send it to you?
The chat is muted. Okay, that's very strange. I'm not sure. So there will be an opportunity for the industry to engage with the PA tomorrow, specifically, I think, around users and what that looks like, given the amount of questions and interest that was provided. So as part of the support from the 17th, we will then go through an exercise specifically for tomorrow around the user setup.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much.
Next question, next hand, Alice.
Hi, I just want to confirm with you the risk return directive that we received advises us that life insurance are required to submit our returns twice a year for Q2 and 4. So do we just carry on like that, or will there be a new directive for the new year?
Returns as it sits, I think any directive that came outside of this project, please do follow that directive, as this project is only focused on applications and notifications at this moment.
Okay.
So anything that has to do with returns over and above any communication will then follow.
All right. Thank you.
So, where did I end with the questions? I think I've answered Chevron. Any other word? Oh, I think I've answered that. Oh, and then there's Kele. Okay, so there's no questions on the chat. Anjali? Angeline, if you're speaking, you're on mute. You've
Sorry,
muted.
no, sorry for that. I'm using headphones. Sorry. I just wanted to check. There are those applications. For example, the application in terms of Section 5.4 that does not have a form. So how do you submit such applications on your system?
I will call a friend. Let me see who's on your Tuso. Are you able to take that one?
Okay, yes, this is so. There, I just need to check the labels that they are on there, right? Let me just check for you quickly. Okay, just give me a moment to set up.
No problem. Let me also see who's on the chat that probably can assist there, actually. Sharon?
It's probably a similar question as well. It's also for if you apply for extension on your annual QRT, there is also no application.
So
I don't
I'm
think.
gonna try and answer this as best as I probably can while Tuso is trying to come back to us. So if there is no physical form that needs to be attached to anything, the idea is all the content that's needed for a particular submission should be on the, oh, and I see Tuso's back, should be on the
Oh, there is one
Tuso.
form.
Okay, Tuso, you're on mute.
Yes, just maybe to Sharon, right? So there is a form reference, right, or form name that we use for that one. And then for Jacqueline, I just let there's that other option that says other year, right? But I'll then send you an email just to confirm because I don't know, I don't recall the form number of my. Right, I can't see it in my head. I'm looking for it. I can't see where it is, but there is that host of forms form names that we have, right? They might not have a template on which you need to complete this, but we have a form number, right? You'll know even if when you go to the website, you'll see that.
Thank you, Tuso. The slides and the recordings will be shared as part of the feedback to the industry. Anjali?
Yeah, so that one in particular does not have a form in terms when you want to apply to conduct any other business besides the insurance business. Let's say you are an agent, a SASRIA agent, and then you want to apply to the PA to become this agent. Is there such a form? Because I've never seen one. Because last time I spoke to our frontline team, they suggested that we actually write an email, not an email, a letter, and then submit it. So I just wanted to check, then are we supposed to then take that letter and attach it
Yes,
to
yes, yes.
the system? Okay, thank you.
100%, yeah. Because remember I think it's somewhere stated in the act, right, that the PA may prescribe a form, but a form is just for us to then put it in a manner that we want to, but you may then apply in absence of a form. You then put that in your company letterhead, sign off by the relevant people, and then you then attach it on the system. And then you'll then obviously attach other documents that needs to come with that application through. Is it clear, Angeline?
Thumbs up there too.
Yes, to show it's clear. It's clear. Thank you.
I think the other one is a comment, another question around extensions being managed by form PA. So on that note, I do not see any other. I do not see any other hand, nor do I see any other question on the chat. So from a training and support perspective, you would have seen the slide again on Tuesday. So it's just an overview of where we are. Today is the last day from a training perspective, but we will then engage with the industry across all the different institution types tomorrow, specifically just to address the questions around principal users, or rather user types on the portal, and whether you were able to then access the institution, or whether you were able to submit the nominations for your particular institution. So please do look out for that comms, so that you are ready to provide the PA with any communication in the discussions tomorrow. Sharon?
Hi. Should we be, well, yesterday you said there will be the support email, or the dedicated email, but I mean, like I said yesterday, it's not helpful if there is no like a service desk or someone you can contact, because if we're trying to submit our returns and we can't do it because either we didn't pay enough attention, or there's something goes wrong. I mean, there's always penalties involved in submissions, if late submissions. So how are you going to deal with that?
I think so, Sharon, on Tuesday, I did say we'll note that, and we should then be identifying a way to address that if really your emails will not be responded to on time. But also, to the same point, returns are mainly focused for phase 2. So if that is a pain point that then needs to be addressed for phase 2, it will be addressed as such. Thanks, Sharon. So I see there on the screen there was a number of additional IA forms which is not on the website. The website only accounts 2. When will the list of documents be updated to see the new forms? Estelle, please just come in there and assist on just elaborating on the question.
Sure. I actually just went onto your website now, and the website for insurers only go up to IFO 84. So there's no other forms. I don't see the forms 111 that you've got. So I'm not sure where those forms came from and where can we find them on the website.
Okay. Tuso, are you able to take that one?
Yeah, so am I vocal? Is that so?
I can hear you.
Yes. So we'll just look into that, because I mean, as far as I know, right, the 111 form that you're speaking to is what? Let me see.
Sorry, that was just by example because that's the one
Yeah.
that caught my eye.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's for controlling companies, right? So like I said, so some of these forms are specific, right? They might not be necessarily for insurers because we also have form numbers for Lloyd's, right? Of which you won't see, but I'll just then circle back to you and just then maybe then find out why that list not the same as what we have on here. Because I mean, this is this is the form names that we use. It should be the same inventory that we have on our website.
Thanks for picking that up, Sam.
Thank you.
Any other questions? So the planning for phase 2 is kicking off after phase 1 go live. So phase 1 go live is March, which effectively means that the following week will then start with the planning for phase 2. Hope that answers that question. So I don't see any hands and I don't see any other questions on the chat. Is everyone able to see my screen? Okay, so on the screen, you will see from a support perspective and a training perspective, I think we've discussed these in detail. So what is expected from the institutions has not been changed. Still remains for the institutions to understand then the impact of this change specifically for the organization, and do please continuously engage with the PA around any changes or any particular questions that you have. And I do encourage you to please participate as part of the training that will then be initiated from tomorrow, and provide us with all the feedback that you possibly can. And the last one is if there still is any questions, and I see a hand from Angeline.
Hi, I just wanted to ask, the old system, I think we also use it, not just, yes, there was a system where we would submit documents, but then we also had a centralized email where the PA would communicate like on updates on any new standards. So I wanted to check, are you also going to communicate? How are you communicating in future? Since now we're going to be using this email, are we going to still have that centralized mail, or what's going to happen?
So can you see my slides? Anjali?
Can see them. I can see them.
Are you seeing the one that says create, complete, submit application?
Yes.
Yeah, so on this menu here, there's that documents piece there.
Yes.
So in that documents piece there, if you go in there, the documents or any communication from the PA will be sitting in that documents piece there.
Thank you.
So, Manaketi.
A quick one. I just wanted to know, will you share the slides with us so that when we're on the training platform, we can reference?
If I say no, will you kill me?
There's like over 100 of us here, hey?
Manaketi, I'm joking. Yes, you will get the slides.
Thank you.
So, okay, I do not see any other hands, and with that, I think that brings us to the end of our discussion for today. So I'm happy to provide you and give you back the hour. Oh, 2 seconds. Sorry, the PA has S&T forums outside IF. Shireen, can you just please elaborate on that? Or were you just making a note around the forms?
Yeah, sure. I think that might be what Estelle is referring to, because I recently had to make use of those forms. And if you go into the standard list on the drop down, you're only given the options relating to the RF forms. But there are other significant owner forms that start with an S and start with a T, for example, that don't form part of that drop down list. And that's perhaps what Estelle was referring to. Just wanted to provide some clarity on that.
Okay, and I see Estelle's hand is up.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Shireen. Yeah, the significant owners and financial conglomerate forms are different, you're quite right. But if the presenter would go back to the system, you'll see that the IF forms actually went beyond IF 084. So those forms does not appear on our website anywhere. They are specifically referring to the IF forms, not the others. So if the presenter would go back to the system, I would gladly demonstrate.
No, I think that, okay, unless it is for the benefit of the rest of the crowd, but I think we've taken on Estelle what you alluded to, and we will try and align what's sitting on the website to what's sitting on the system. Or Shireen, would you want to go into the system and show you the drop down of the form sets?
No, not for my information. Thank you. I already know where to find the forms, but I'm just thinking for everybody else's benefit, like one list of all the forms might be advantageous. I'm not sure how everybody else thinks.
Okay, no, we'll take that on, and if they are on there and we need to redirect individuals to the correct places, we'll also do that. That's not
Thanks very
an
much.
issue. Before I take the hands, I'm gonna just try get to Joy. So Joy, must all communication to PA going forward post go live be via portal? 100% correct. That is the ask, please. And then Helen, is it Helen or is it Helene?
It's Helene, but Helen is fine. I react to
Okay.
both. Just on open applications that are currently with the Prudential Authority, I'm assuming we'll close them out on the old way and then load them once we've received information, or will they close them out through the new portal?
So any application that's already sitting with the PA will be migrated to the new portal. And if it's closed, it's migrated as closed. And given the fact that there is somewhat of a difference between the old system and the new system, we will be moving the stuff to a start stage that's sitting in progress.
Perfect. Thank you.
Monet?
Thank you. Is there any discussion with the FSCA about submitting FSCA returns, like the conduct of business return, using this this forum or this portal in the future, or has that not been discussed yet?
So this type of portal or this actual portal?
This actual portal.
So we haven't discussed with the FSCA for them to use this portal for their submissions, but what we should be, or rather started initiating the discussion, is specifically for market infrastructure stuff, for how we then engage with the FSCA on how the FSCA then engages with the PA.
Okay, thank you.
Ibrahim?
Hi there. I think the person who just asked the question on the CBR, I think it's, sorry, I'm off topic here and I don't mean to steal airtime, but I think it's a good point for the person to raise it directly with FSCA, because we've done that already. And one of the big gripes we have is that the FSCA don't have a data infrastructure to be able to ingest millions of Excel documents, which they think they're going to receive with the CBR. So it's a good point to raise direct to the FSCA. Have they thought about a data portal or data infrastructure on how they're going to ingest thousands of CBRs from every single FSP in the country? Sorry for stealing your time.
No, that's fine. You get assists. If it assists anyone in the discussion, I'm more than happy to open that. But thank you for that info. Sharon?
Is my understanding correct that for Q1, the quarterly returns will be submitted on the old way, and then only from phase 2 will be submitted via the new the Umoja portal?
So your understanding is correct to say anything that is return specific will remain the same. until communication has been provided to say phase 2 has gone live and submission of return has changed.
Thank you.
All right.
Ibrahim?
No, sorry, I need to put my hand down. Sorry.
Oh, okay. No other questions? Let's suppose you unmuted. Is that you wanted to come in there?
Apologies, this is on. Thanks.
If there is nothing else, I am happy to close the session. Do enjoy the rest of your afternoon. And again, thank you for taking the time to indulge us and working together to get the system up and running. Thanks, everyone. That's it from our side.
Thanks, Thank you.
Thank you.